wonder how much of this I'm gonna relate to.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on ADHD. Wait, so it turns out this boy has ADHD. Who would have guessed? I got officially diagnosed about a year ago now. The process for getting diagnosed was odd. I didn't really know what to expect when getting diagnosed, but I didn't expect it to include wires, that's for sure. By the way,
Wires?
2 things. 1, I am not a doctor.
I didn't get that. I didn't get wired. I got wired for something else, but I didn't get wired for ADHD. Did I take the wrong test?
So always get a professional diagnosis if you suspect anything. And 2, ADD is no longer a thing. It is all under ADHD now, with 2 flavors. There is the inattentive type and the hyperactive type. And apparently, I am the inattentive type. So all of this started with good old classic denial. I had a lot of ADHD symptoms for a long time, and we'll go over specifics later, but have you ever noticed in TVs and movies where ADHD is just like, ooh, a squirrel, ooh, a ladybug, ooh, a piece of candy? Ah! Well, that's only on the surface level of ADHD, and unsurprisingly, it is a much more complicated thing than popular media makes it out to be.
I need visuals when people talk to me. If there's no visuals and I have to listen to you, you're probably going to have to repeat yourself multiple times. Which is why I'm actually quite enjoying our social activity, because I can read what you guys are talking to me about. Yay!
Big surprise. I thought, I don't do that.
Another thing that I got called out for multiple times by various of peoples is that I have a tendency to talk over somebody when a thought kicks in. Yeah, I annoyed quite a number of people. They're just like, can you stop doing that? I'm like, stop what? It's like, can you stop talking over me when I'm talking? I'm like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize I was doing that.
And therefore, I don't have any ADHD, but one day, I was watching goofy internet videos and saw something that was like, this video is very goofy and relatable. Allow me to just look down at what the creator wrote about the video, and possible tags associated with this morsel of entertainment. I don't suspect anything Arby's. This probably doesn't mean anything. This started to happen more and more until I started to ask some serious questions about myself. These coincidences. It's led me to think and reflect on a lot of things. There were a lot of memories that started to seem like signs more than just memories. Like forgetting to drink water for an entire day might be a...
Is that not normal? I feel this. I am feeling this right now, actually. I'm just like, my mouth is constantly dry. What's going on? And I'm looking at this giant ass water bottle sitting at my desk! I barely drank in it for 2 days. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go ahead and take myself a water break now. God, drinking harder. Drinking water is hard. Remembering to drink is hard. Who would have thought remembering to drink is a hard thing to do?
Sign of something, and not just be a goofy little thing that I do sometimes. So I started to read books and watch lectures and learn as much as I could about ADHD. And the more that I did, the more that puzzle pieces started to click. These are things that I did that I thought were normal, but were actually signs of ADHD. Having hundreds of tabs open at a time, constantly, to a point where 30 gigabytes of RAM is a necessity, is something.
So I had a moment where I sat down with myself and actually took the time to stop doing that, where I had over 200 tabs open because it was killing my computer when it only has like 5 gigabytes left in the CPU. Oops. I've decided to go ahead and close all of it with one big close button because it dawned on me. When did I last revisit these tabs? I know I have these tabs open so I can remember to go check them out later. When was later? When will later be? So I finally, pulled up my big girl pants, closed all those tabs in one button, and realized I could never feel sad or disappointed about what I'm missing out because I can't remember about those tabs. I have no idea what those tabs are. Although I do wonder about that one that deals with a doctor thing, but it's no big deal.
Something people with ADHD do. Doing a task like locking a door, but seconds later you aren't totally sure if you locked the door, so you relock it another time or 2. There's this thing I like to do when I'm alone, where I walk in circles for a couple of hours and I talk to myself. Don't judge me. I like it.
He does that too? Like, I knew that's a weird thing that I did, but I didn't know it was ADHD related. Do any of you guys also walk in circles and talk out loud? Like, I just went ahead and accepted I'm just crazy, but what? Dipper chasing your tail? Maybe. I don't know. I walk in circles when I'm not sure what to do. Like, when I feel directionless, I just start walking in circles. Like, I don't know what task to give myself. I can't decide what I want to do next. I just start walking in circles. I accepted it as a thing that I do, but I knew that it wasn't normal.
But also apparently it's an ADHD thing. Reading paragraphs of books over and over, even though I'm very intentionally trying to read it, I have to do it multiple times.
Yes.
It took me ages to finish Hatchet. Ages! It wasn't even that good. Going to do a task and forgetting what the task was on my way to do it because I'm thinking of something in the meantime. Chronically. Like, this happens every day, all day. Like, this one time, Kelly wanted some chocolate, and I was like, I can get you chocolate. And I went to the kitchen to go get chocolate. But from point A to point B, I just got distracted. And I kind of found myself holding chocolate. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I'm hungry for chocolate. And I eat it. And I go back to the room where Kelly was sitting, and she was sad because I was eating her chocolate. I don't know how to explain it, other than, like, I didn't mean to do that. It just happened. And it happens a lot.
It's like a switch just gets flipped. Countless time I walk into the kitchen, I'm just, like, wondering, like, why did I go here? What was it that I needed? And I'll leave. And I find out what it is again, and then I'll go back, and then I'll be like, "Why am I here?" It's like an endless, it's like an endless short circuit cycle.
Caffeine does not work on me and just makes my heart rate go up. Contacting me is a nightmare and usually takes a couple of messages until I get around to it. Not doing things right up until the deadline. That one's a common one. And
yeah, that's a common one. Yep. Doing it until the last minute. Procrastination queen right here. Wouldn't do my homework until it was the morning of school. I'll be doing it on the bus. I'll accept the consequences of whatever class I couldn't finish the homework with, but the ones that I feared the teachers the most, that was the one I did. I did those homeworks. I was like, oh man, I gotta get this one out. Teacher's gonna eat me. The other one I was just like, this teacher's nice, so I don't have to put that as a priority. That's not an emergency homework. I'll accept the minus 10 points for lateness. Whatever. I'll live.
The list goes on. So after all of this reflection and learning, I have very strong...
It's interesting that he said that the coffee thing just made his heart race and not give him any, like, I don't know, I guess wakefulness, because that's what's supposed to be, that's the purpose of caffeine. I am feeling that now for some reason for Gamer Supps, where I am having 3 to 4 scoops of Gamer Supps, and I still want to go to sleep. I feel chronically tired all day.
Suspicions that I have ADHD. So I had to get a professional to assess me and look at my brain. Oh God. The assessment included a bunch of questions, but the first part of it included this new test, which I think was called an EKG. They strap a bunch of wires to your head and measure your brain waves. The instructions were to stay still and do not move for 30 minutes. ADHD test. Stay still. 30 minutes. You already know the results. I had ADHD, and I felt weirdly relieved. There has been a lot of frustration in my life because despite trying really hard to focus, I could only achieve half as much as other people. So despite still having issues with it, it feels good to know why. I never expected that was going to be a meaningful thing to me, but here we are. Anyway, after my diagnosis, there was talk about medication, and that did not go well, but I'm going to make a second video about that. I have an idea of what I'm going to say, but since we're entering medication territory, I want to try to be a little bit more thoughtful about how I go about the video. So, need a little bit more time. Thank you for your patience about it. I wish you the best, and thank you for watching.
That's a good idea.
Candy.
Tylko jedno w głowie mam
Hey, how you doing? So Before we start, I just want to say that just really quick, you should know. Okay, just really quick. It's good for you to know that what I'm going to say in this video is not to deter you or convince you of ADHD medication. This is just my experience, of which started out really good, but then quickly declined into stinky, icky bad. So the last video, I figured out that I had ADHD.
I feel like I shouldn't watch this video because I am considering getting medication now. But you know what? Knowledge is power. I need to know.
Because I had symptoms. Symptoms such as often has trouble holding attention on tasks, often does not seem to listen when spoken to directly, or is often easily distracted. You know, stuff like that. So what was the solution? Drug. In America, medication doesn't come cheap, so this wasn't like a just whatever decision. This sprouted from some real need. To the surprise of no one, ADHD brain isn't very productive. My thoughts either do not complete or just overlap with one another. And
I'm having that right now, honestly, you guys. I don't I feel like I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it, but what he's saying, I'm feeling it. It doesn't feel like it's the burnout. It's just like I feel like my focus is on something else and I'm forcing myself to do something. It's like this is the task that I am assigning myself and it needs to get done. But I really don't want to do it. I'm not in the mood. I hate it. And therefore, trying to get that task done takes like double or triple the time. So I have to make a hard decision of, should I just not bother with it at all and just save it for the next day where I actually become efficient? You know? What would take me 3 hours, I can actually get it done in 1 hour because I'm more of a mood to do it.
that's very annoying. It's a lot of chaos, and it can be really frustrating when I'm trying to focus. Hey guys, what is 2 plus 2? I don't know. Probably 2? I think it could be 4. Who even made math? Yeah, it's probably just another 2. There's already 2 twos in there. Probably another 2, I bet. When will this be useful to know? Like, what am I gonna do with my life anyway? Like, what will the future hold? What is something that I need to worry about? Guys! What do you imagine it sounds like when we play 8 different trumpets randomly at the same time? Well, I wonder when we can find out. This happens when I'm talking to other people, and I could, like, forget their name. It happened in school and work, and I'm sure it's a big reason as to why I had to retake classes in high school. And honestly, I just want my hands on the wheel for once. And I was told that meds could be a way to achieve that. Have you guys gotten any work done at all? Where's the guy in charge here? There's tons of medications to choose from. Adderall, Vyvanse, Ritalin, Concerta, and many others. For my first medication, I used Adderall. We started out really low, about 5 milligrams of Adderall. So, what does Adderall feel like? It takes a little bit to kick in, but when it does, I gain this strange ability. Just the ability to be able to. So you see, a lot of my unmedicated days goes like this. I will think of a thing to do, task A, but then my brain is like, yo, wait, there's this other thing you should do first because it's probably going to take like no time at all. And then that happens a couple times. And then I start on the least important task, get like halfway through it, take a break, forget about all of the other tasks, and then get distracted by anything else within my field of view, which if I'm online is infinity. Then the day is done and I've made a laughably small amount of progress. When Adderall was introduced into my system, I was like, I should do task A. And then I did task A. The loop was gone. There was no sensation. It was just ability. So Adderall was good for a while until I started to realize that it wasn't doing what I wanted it to. I was able to do things, but I started to notice that it was only touchable and physical tasks. Like one day, I took my Adderall, started to get to work, and then I realized that I was just vacuuming, doing dishes, and cleaning up other general messes around the house because I could physically fix that stuff. But if I needed to sit and think about things, it was really hard. See, the ability to do a thing was gained, but I never got the ability to focus. And that was the core of my problem. So out goes the Adderall. So I talked to a friend who also has ADHD about this problem. After some chatting, he mentioned he was taking Vyvanse, which is supposed to work differently than other meds for ADHD. It's a slower burn, and that can help in different ways for different people. Specifically for him, it helps him a lot with focus, which is what I wanted.
Yeah, Adderall is great, but also you're effectively taking meth.
What?
Huh.
You might want to talk to your psych about Vyvanse if you're looking for something more mellow.
Considering my goals and my general aversion to meth, that seemed like a good idea. So I did bring up the idea of Vyvanse to my psych, and we decided to give it a go.
Am I gonna be taking the blue crystal? The blue candy?
Oh, Vyvanse felt way different than Adderall. When I took it, there was absolutely more focus. Like, way too much focus. So it comes around the first day of me trying out my new medication. It takes about an hour to kick in, so when I first tried it, nothing happened for a while. But then it hit. And when it did, I was watching a show about space flight. And it became very easy to follow along. Instead of consuming multiple forms of media at once, I was keenly aware and focused on this space documentary. But that focus, plus curiosity about spaceflight, led me into learning and researching the science of rocket flight and orbital mechanics. Cool, but that's not what I needed to do for the day. I was so enthralled with the information that by the time the medication wore off, the day was over and I did no work. I figured out the problem was I was able to work with incredible focus. I just needed to do the right task when the medication began its effects. Easy. I thought this was great. How foolish of me. If I'm not doing what I need to be doing while the meds are focusing me on the wrong thing, then it's not working. I would wake up, I'd take a pill, be distracted, then be locked into that thing I was distracted on for the whole day. So I had days that were crazy productive or days that were totally shot. It was all just a gamble. It felt like I was so close to getting rid of my distractibility, so I kept convincing myself that it was just a
Good God, it's gotcha ADHD meds.
matter of getting my habits right. Then some weird stuff started to happen. One day I take my meds and I'm working on one of many things I'm not supposed to be working on. And then I started to feel out of breath. I immediately think it's COVID. So I go to do tests, talk to doctors, but COVID doesn't show up. Did you take a COVID test? Yeah. Is it COVID? No. So I'm not sure what this is. The feeling was like if I had just stopped jogging, but constantly. I had a feeling that it was the meds that were causing this problem, but I feel like I was so desperate to have the medications work that I was in denial that it was the meds that were causing the problem. So I just kept taking it. And then I did something really stupid. I was supposed to have a conversation with my psych in the future, and I could have just contacted him sooner and talked about these symptoms. But then I waited until it got really bad. I was having headaches. I could hardly sleep. One day I couldn't wait anymore. The symptoms got really bad, and I tried to contact him, but he was out of town and unreachable by this point. And so I did a really bad thing that you are never supposed to do. Do not do this ever. I stopped taking the meds. And I'm very thankful that I had no adverse reactions to this, but for me, it worked out. And after a couple of days of not taking the meds, I was fine. So that's my experience with ADHD medication. I'm off meds now, and I'm all good, but now I'm kind of back to square one. I think the moral of the... Whoa, God. I almost dropped my phone. I think the moral of the story here is do not be tunnel visioned on results like me. If you're having a bad experience with medication, talk to your medical professional. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to unsubscribe.
I guess after that experience, that is kind of traumatizing a little bit. It is not cool to feel out of breath constantly. Holy smokes. I am in awe in how many creators have ADHD are able to put together a script. To me, they're already leaps and bounds ahead of me. I just can't sit down and write. And that was probably the one thing that was pissing me off the most whenever I went to my therapist. He was like, "Did you write anything down?" I was like, "No." It's like, "Do you know why?" "Yeah, I forgot it." Like every goddamn time when you ask me, did I write my feelings down? No. When I go and leave the office and come home, my mind's not about therapy anymore. My mind's on work. So I forget. Literally the only time I ever remember about it is when you just tell me. As soon as I leave the office, that's it. It's just gone. Whatever happened in the office stays in the office, sir. He's like, "I really recommend that you write your feelings down." I was like, "I don't write. I hate writing. I hate writing because I'm so bad at putting my thoughts together to write anything down to formulate a sentence or two." If you want some help with ADD, you should watch something. You know, I'm already feeling like I'm a lost cause. No worries, my dude. I've already lived with it for so long. I'm somehow managing.